Level 2's physical layout, whilst complicated, has certain commonalities in its design which allows it to be mapped and understood. The tunnels themselves, despite following no strict flow on how they are structured, all contort at strictly 45-degree angles, and the rough length of hallways is always measured to approximate multiples of 5 when measuring in the metric system, only when rounded up to the nearest whole number, with occasional errors from the lack of equipment in the early days of experimenting with Level 2. The various tunnels also are usually rather tight and narrow, either because of the original dimensions of the tunnels, which sometimes barely fit those of larger builds from shoulder to shoulder, or by the machinery, wiring, or other industrial equipment strung up along the walls and ceilings. The walls are built of withered, dirtied concrete, or even bricks in certain areas, the latter of which are usually in muddy brown or black hues. The texture of all wall surfaces are somewhat chalky, regardless of the material of the wall itself, and usually leaves powdery residue on one's fingers if touched or rubbed across. In extremely tight corridors, this even leaves marks and stains on clothing, or occasional bruises on skin. In a majority of hallways, however, the chalky and tattered walls are often obstructed by imposing, rarely operational machinery that usually covers one or both walls from floor to ceiling. These pipes and machines do not work at all in tandem with one another. Instead, each of these industrial appliances are placed in arbitrary locations across Level 2, and do little more than connect to one another with piping and working electricity. In the modern era, these machines usually create little more than quiet internal whirring noises, as if the machines are faulty. Additionally, each machine is usually connected by long, thick pipes that transfer fluids, electricity, gases, or even solid objects on sparse occasions. Whilst piping and machinery are an ever-abundant sight, similarly industrial handheld equipment scatters various halls. Flatbed trolleys are one such common appearance, which usually possess items such as miscellaneous machine parts, oil drum barrels, and metal, cardboard, and wooden boxes oftentimes chocked full of livable materials. In addition, scraps of paper, old tools, and shattered glass from old light bulbs also cover the level's floor in random areas, usually without much rhyme or reason. Other, more miscellaneous and unremarkable objects include the following: toolboxes, wood piles, dismantled machine pieces, rusted pipes, step ladders, large extension cords, power tools, and fold-out chairs. Level 2 is lit predominantly by buzzing fluorescent lights, similar to that found on various levels between 0 and 4. These lights, whilst sparser than in the likes of Level 0, still coat a predominant portion of the level in industrial white or orange hues. The wiring for these lights is more often than not exposed, which has led to various groups harvesting the level's copper, and occasionally even the fixtures themselves. In addition, the lighting in Level 2 is not even distributed, oftentimes leaving some areas in darkness. However, they are still usually insulated via plastic or rubber. Due to the exposed nature of the wiring, and due to the fact areas of Level 2 seem to be wired in series circuits instead of parallel ones, it is extremely easy for the wiring inside lighting to be disrupted, meaning that each light lit on the same wire, instead of each one being powered on a different wire. This can happen for a myriad of reasons, ranging from accidental, purposeful espionage, and even entity interference. Regardless of intent, however, if one light or wire is damaged for any of these reasons, all lights within a set space will immediately deactivate, plunging the local area of Level 2 into darkness. The affected areas after the destruction of a set of lights is virtually arbitrary, as there are no easily identifiable signifiers to determine what sections of Level 2 are wired up to which areas of circuitry, and testing to figure out such things would be a fruitless affair. However, from what few times this has intentionally been done, anywhere between a rough 3x3 to 6x6 grid of lights will deactivate, whilst narrow corridors, thick machinery, and various industrial props take up a majority of Level 2's landscape. The walls not coated with wires and pipes instead contain doors ranging in various colors, materials, sizes, and types. The default designs for these doors are usually of a steel construction that swivels inwards to whatever lays on the other side of the room, as well as usually being painted in various shades of white, grey and cream. uncommon door within level 2, one which lead into a simple and unlit room that was entirely devoid of furniture. More often than not, these doors also contain various amounts of additional decoration on top of them, usually in the form of patterns like embossed or debossed squares, locks, signs, spray-painted symbols, windows, or even damage to their main structure. It is unknown how many of these are generated by the level itself, or if some of these are created via humans or other sentient entities. Usually, these signs will denote warnings about machinery or piping, do not enter warnings, flood warnings, or general industrial jargon, though what is written on these signs seldom correlates to what is on the other end. These rooms were most commonly used by groups that used to inhabit level 2, and are still used relatively frequently by modern groups to quickly access the internet. It is also believed that these rooms would later be terraformed into office space Elia. However, no surviving records exist to confirm nor deny any terraforming took place. A long hallway, or oftentimes a multitude of hallways, that all loop back around to the same door one came from. These hallways, more often than not, are completely devoid of any sort of decoration other than fluorescent and incandescent bulbs, and also resemble office hallways rather than industrial ones. A singular room of varying size, usually just a simple square or rectangle shape. A select few rarer rooms possess a compound-shaped design, though these are usually nothing more than two squares or rectangles attached to one another. These rooms can usually contain any items and furniture mentioned in the first bullet point, though more often than not, they are completely unfurnished. It is also believed that one of these varieties of rooms later went on to be used in office space Elia's construction. For a large majority of specifically locked doors, and for the even fewer amounts that have windows built into them, the views into the other ends of these doors will be that of an entirely black void. In most cases, this form of room is inaccessible due to the doorway to enter it being in a permanently locked state. However, especially in more recent years during the heavy industrialization of level 2, certain doors that previously unlocked into voids have unlocked. This blackout ceased all mechanical and electronic operations within level 2, as well as cutting off travel to level 126 and level 811, due to both exits requiring some level of electricity to function. After the machinery failed, the pipes of level 2 began to accumulate the various solids, liquids, and gases that they transported. This, on sparse occasions, caused certain pipes to burst, leak, or leave certain areas of level 2 with a thick, pungent smell similar to that of rotting meat. Alongside the pipes ceasing operation, the usually abundant lights of level 2 immediately faltered as well, most simply deactivated. However, a few of the fluorescents are known to have burst due to the sudden power outage. During this time, many flashlights were being given to any explorer from any group who wished to explore level 2 after the word had traveled far enough of the damage. After a few days, violet lights seemingly began to activate at sparse portions of the level, resembling a form of soft, emergency lighting, which aided wanderers in navigating the level. In addition, a select few entrances and exits ceased to work, and some of the previously locked doors of level 2 reopened. This subsequently led to the ability to enter the void rooms, which has unfortunately caused certain wanderers to go missing within them in their curiosity to see what was within them after the blackout itself ended. Overall, this blackout lasted a total of 2 years, with all life suddenly springing back into level 2 when the main lights reactivated and the pipes began their transmission of anomalous items again. Additionally, very few groups have shown interest in occupying level 2 since its blackouts, though for a myriad of reasons, from its claustrophobic design to the inherent danger. The main reason occupation of level 2 has been so infrequent is due to the fact that any group, regardless of age, sees it a better fit to occupy elsewhere. Whilst a hub of a select few levels and mechanical tools, level 2 has a severe lack of edible foods and medical supplies, with those that do live on level 2 relying on imports or going to other levels for their needed materials. After the lights reignited, virtually all of level 2's machinery ceased functioning, only producing quiet and internal whirring noises as if pieces of their construction were dislodged or broken. In addition, there are still portions of level 2 that are still trapped within a brownout, having only a few lights operational, and all machinery and piping quiet. Office Space Elia, or simply Elia, is a combined warehouse and modular office space, secluded within the mind-bending tunnel labyrinth of Level 2. The walls and floors of the sublayer consist mostly of dilapidated concrete, with rebar visible in some areas. Piping and ventilation ducts run exposed along the walls and ceiling, which occasionally secrete a viscous, black ooze, something seen frequently by wanderers of Level 2. The sublayer is well lit when compared to the rest of its host level, but suffers frequent faults in its ventilation system, sending temperatures as high as 35 degrees Celsius for hours at a time. Despite this, Elia is among the most hospitable known locations in Level 2, and is one of the first major outposts a wanderer may encounter within the Backrooms. The sublayer was originally discovered on accident by a supply team who were navigating to the hub with provisions from Level 4. The complex consists of a ground-level warehouse, as well as a mezzanine level containing modular office blocks and a break room. The total area of the sublayer is comparable to a smaller than average warehouse in the front rooms. The outpost functions as a bulk storage and distribution site, and is always packed with objects collected from Level 2 and Level 3. Its inventory is diverse, often containing electronics, furniture, tools, and clothing. These items are stored at Elia until eventually being distributed to larger communities throughout the Backrooms, such as Traders Keep in Level 1. Accessible via staircases, the mezzanine level of office space Elia contains numerous modular office blocks. These offices are used as semi-private housing for the sublayer's occupants and visitors. The mezzanine level also possesses a break room, which functions as the outpost's primary source of sustenance. It is furnished with tables, chairs, and vending machines, which dispense snacks and drinks without requiring payment. These machines restock automatically every 72 hours, although the specific timing varies slightly. Local tradition dictates that all inhabitants and guests sign their name on the wall of the break room. Office space Elia is accessible within Level 2 via several access tunnels. Tunnels connecting to the sublayer are often lit brighter than normal and feature occasional signage directing wanderers towards a location marked Elia. Following these routes will eventually lead to the outpost, and also function as exits when traveling away. Level 2.2 is described to be a seemingly segmented beehive storage room, covering the size of 1 million square miles, almost the size of Kazakhstan. The constant buzzing of bees has the ability to mesmerize visitors, and may have already caused a few people to go insane. The inhabitants of this level feast upon the honey in these hives, as an owner of the hives has not been found. The colors of the walls may vary as you explore it for miles and miles, but most people said that they were either gray or yellow. The floor has the same dark bluish gray color to it as far as the floor has been discovered. Rarely, you may see doors and narrow pipes that bees may be able to fit through and fly around in. Almost all of the bees found on this level are neutral. An attempt to approach a hive without using a chemical spray to manipulate the pheromones of the bees will trigger said bees in the nearby area, most often killing the suspect. People have also died attempting to swat at a bee or stomp at it, as they normally fly in groups. People have reported seeing a larger form of a bee in the shadows, typically with very bright glowing wings and or eyes, in colors of blue, yellow, or red. The estimated survival rate of a person who has stayed here for at least 2 weeks and has ventured here for at least 5 miles is 80%. It is very hard to purposely enter this level. Rumors say that it's possible to access this room through the ventilation in Level 3, but that has not been confirmed or denied. It's speculated that every 1 in 777 door opens can take you to this level. Level 2, due to how well understood it has become over the last few decades, has had a variety of entrances and exits discovered that lead to other normal levels, subsections, and unnumbered levels. This list is actively updated, and the entrances and exits currently known are below. Infamously, Level 2 is most easily accessible from Level 1 via traversing down any corridors that appear to go on for longer than most corridors do in the level. Many individuals have also netlipped into Level 2 directly from the front rooms itself, which is supported by groups such as the survivors, and allows them to continue their main ethos and work even after the blackout. These exits, whilst not necessarily common level 1, are common enough that they are one of the main ways individuals access level 2, especially those fresh inside of the backrooms from level 0. However, there are a large array of other entrances into level 2. Random doors within level -1 will send you here. As Ely is one of the industrial complexes, trespassing is barred by those not affiliated with the group. Entering the doors of random buildings in level 11 will send you here. Doors in the level 2.2 will send you here. Rarely, crawling to the vents of level 8 will send you here, but this is not advisable. Touching or no clipping with a majority of objects or walls in level 84 will send you here. Climb a furnace in level 127 will bring you here. Flights of stairs will send one here. Waterfalls in level 173 will send you here. Traveling over 3 miles in level 309 will walk you here. Corridors which the stores are connected in level 480 sometimes send you here. As one of its only entrances exists in level 2, individuals must use a pink door embedded in a tree in level 997. The most well-known, easiest to find, and most commonly used exits from level 2 come in the form of exits to level 1, level 3, and oftentimes even level 4, all of which take the form of unlocked doors. These exits, especially in recent years, are especially easy to spot, as wanderers of years past often leave signs or engravings in the walls of anomalous doors that lead to these above levels. Whilst not accounting for all of level 2's exits, the vast majority of ways to leave level 2 come from various anomalous doors that can be spotted semi-frequently. For the sake of categorization, the exits section has split into multiple parts. Accessing through a plywood doors in level 2 will lead to level 31, level 127 and or level 137. Finding a metal bolt door in level 2 will lead back to level 141. Blue doors in level 2 will lead to level 175. Some of the piping on level 2 will occasionally contain circuit-like lights that faintly pulsate with light, akin to those seen on the many relics spread throughout. Pink doors in level 2 will lead to level 997. As more commonalities to level 2, elevator-like doors will lead to level 998. Following the same entrance scheme as is suggested to do on level 1, one can access the hub from level 2, that being to follow a trail of corridors that aligns with the Konami code. Whilst traversing level 2, it has been documented that individuals may suddenly find themselves seamlessly transitioning into either of the 2 above levels in level 606 or level 38. Make-believe is thought to happen far less frequently. However, this may only be due to the fact that no one who has been to make-believe has survived, meaning there is much less information to go off of. As office space Ely exists directly within level 2 itself, exiting this area will place individuals back into level 2. Finding a large decorated room in level 2 will lead you to level 64. For reasons unknown, any areas of level exits via others methods too that become unreasonably hot, much like the exit to level 811, this particular exit ceased to function during the blackout. By traversing the halls for long enough, or by finding small dugout passageways at perpendicular angles to the rest of level 2's layout, individuals will find themselves in level 158 and level 902 respectively. By wishing to use the restroom on this level, as well as others, one can spontaneously arrive on level 189 after interacting with a door after they have made the wish. Wishing to use the restroom on other levels, for reasons unknown, has a lower rate of entering this level.